Oh, yes, everybody. This is the Flex Network back again for another Friday night adventure. With me, as always, Flex Shane. Follow us and him and me and Al and whoever else we decide to have hop on there at the Flex Network 1. What's going on, Shane?
What's going on? How we doing?
Hey, we're doing great here. Another one always with us. I don't know where he is right now, but he is one at Alan Seslowski, ALANSES, Low Sky. What's going on, brother?
Mock draft night, baby. Saturday night during the quarantine. Here we go. Ready to rock.
Now, introduce your friend here. I have not yet met Mr. Chris here personally.
We got Chris Felicetta. He's been on the DFS Army podcast with me quite a few times. He is most well known for his Best Ball Chronicles, which is published up on Roto Grinders. What's up, Chris?
Not much, man. Just killing time up here in New York City during quarantine. Happy to do a Saturday night mock draft with you guys, man.
Chris, you're in New York City?
I am in the heart of this mess, but
oh my gosh. Before we get into this here, tell me a little bit about, boots on the ground here in NYC. What's going on over there?
I mean, the numbers are pretty terrible, as you guys well know, but I'm lucky. I'm just been basically fighting off a little boredom and cabin fever in a small 1-bedroom with my girlfriend, but we're both working from home and going on little walks and runs, and the streets are dead. We're making the best of it, though. We have it a lot better than a lot of people, so I can't complain, man.
Wow. And joining us just now, the DFS Army, just Commander Elite in charge, one Geek. I forget you're at. What are you at right now, Geek?
At F Football Geek.
At F Football Geek, the owner, the guy at DFS Army. Now, hold on a second. Geek.
Now, I got a couple things to say. All
okay.
Right, so I got some shit I got to get off my chest about.
Hold on. Okay, we're going live. Geek, you're on the clock. So
are we
live right now, boys?
Okay, let's do it. We're doing okay. So right before Geek gets into it, we got a dynasty.
Wait, he had something before he started. He had something to say. You cut him off.
I do have some.
What do you got to say?
Number one, it's a quarantine and we're all stuck in a house when you fuckers keep saying it's Saturday night and it's Friday right now.
Friday night.
Let me make that clear. None of us know what day of the week it is. Okay,
it really is crazy.
Clear that up.
All right, Geek, you're on the clock, brother. Giddy up.
Let me make my pick.
What happened to Chris, by the way? Chris,
as I continue my rant.
We got everybody in here, guys. Look at this.
There we go.
Joining us again is notorious Nick here.
Hold on.
Nick, you're down at the bottom here. Welcome in. We're going to get going, but Geek had something he also wanted to say. What did you want to say, Geek?
Oh, I'm not done. My second part of what I was going to say is you guys aren't having enough of me dominating you in our actual league that you want to invite me to the mock draft for more suffering. Is that really something that do you like pain?
Yeah, love pain.
Love it.
Nipples.
Right. So this is SuperFlex, right? That I'm assuming that's why Nick just took Patrick Mahomes. Okay.
Al, it's called the Flex Network SuperFlex Dynasty Mock.
Yeah, and let me point out that Christian McCaffrey is above all quarterbacks and all other players in every type of league because he's 2 players in one. I got a stud running back, I got a stud wide receiver, all in one pick. I'll take 2 for 1.
Flex Mike timed out.
Yeah, that's okay. Listen, let Nick, you're in here. You're at the bottom of all. We got a lot of guys in here right now. Nick, tell us you're at. Give us where you're at here, and tell us a little bit about yourself.
All right, I am at Notorious Fantasy on Twitter, Notorious Fantasy on YouTube. It's Notorious FANTASY. I can do that English, and I just talk about fantasy football on there. It's also on the podcast app, like any single podcast app, Spotify, all that. I just make fantasy football content just like you guys, and I've made a few videos with my boy Shane up there, who is very far away from me.
But I'm on the clock, so I'm trying to make a decision here, and I think I got it.
All right, so Geek, back to you, 101. You basically no real reason to overthink this, even in Superflex. Christian McCaffrey, easy nuts 101. Doesn't matter what's going on. You had no other option there, Geek.
You got to take McCaffrey. He's 2 players in one. There's no other player that comes close. He, as I said in every draft breakdown, he is in a tier all by himself. There's no tier 2. He's tier 1. The next guy, Saquon Barkley, he's tier 3. So they don't even have a 2.
Did you consider, Geek,
what's that?
for the intents of for the purposes of the podcast, did you consider for a second Patrick Mahomes, Lamar Jackson at 1, or not even a consideration?
No, I think you can consider a quarterback if that's the consideration goes like this. If I want to really go long term with it, right, and I'm thinking 10, 15 years, a running back's probably just not going to be good for that long. So with a Mahomes, you're getting somebody who's going to be good for 10, 12 years. He's your starting quarterback. You're good for a very long time. With McCaffrey, you probably have like a 4-year window of elite production, and then
I don't think that
and then
much
will fade. It could be less. It could be less.
That's what I'm saying. I think it's I don't think it's bad to take McCaffrey at 1-1 in a dynasty, but I think it's a big mistake. I think that again, look what Todd Gurley did in 2018, best player in all of fantasy by 2017. By 2018, a lot of question marks, and then 2019, like done. I mean, it happens that quick with the running backs.
Yeah, it's true.
It's a fair argument, but a McCaffrey on your team will give you domination for multiple years. So if you want to win and you're not just sitting here dicking around about, hey, the long-term shit, I want to win, this is how you win. And if I win the first 3 years of my dynasty and then I have to, come back around, okay, I'll take that. But I want to win.
What's the point of playing? We play the game to win. People who are always trying to like construct the perfect team, it doesn't exist. If you can win now, and Christian McCaffrey helps you do it, in my book, it's a no-brainer. I'm
a little gun shy in a league I'm in, one of my older dynasty leagues. I went for it right in year 1 and made some mistakes, and I aged out pretty quickly, and it's been an uphill struggle to get back in it ever since. So
yeah, but your trades were terrible.
Yes, they were. I will give you that. They were very bad.
It had nothing to do with your draft. You just traded hard.
My dice rolls did not work out. I will give you that.
All right, so quickly, the people we do not have here live on chat, we have our boy Eak from who we know from Roster Watch Nation, also a Flex Network member. Also, we have Brandon here. He is Sapper Stud on Twitter. Now, something kind of cool about him, he's a fan, and he's great, and he's really knowledgeable. This is literally what he sent me. He goes, listen. He's in the military, right? Or he was. He said he was hurt overseas, lost both of his legs above the knee.
Shit.
Okay. So thank you for your service, right? Lost both of his legs above the knees. He ended up getting into skiing and started racing. Ended up competing at the Winter X Games, silver medalist 2-time. After that awesome. Tragic incident with him, but he is here. He's great. He's often a steady commenter for all of us here. And so he's in here with us now. Chris, let me ask you here. In the first round here, Kyler Murray goes 1.9 right before you. Was it a snipe? Were you looking to go Kyler Murray right there and in all your dreams? Dash right
no. I'm really high on Murray this year, but to be honest, I wasn't going to go him there. I think quarterback is so deep, even in a SuperFlex league, that in like maybe 3, 4 rounds, 3, 4, 5, 6, I could get guys that I'm happy with. So I know it's not probably optimal if you're looking 10 years into the future to draft running backs, but I feel that with the crazy depth at receiver now, that I'll be able to pick up guys that I'm comfortable with. So that was my thought to going running back there. I felt like I was getting guys that are going to be like really good right now.
Now, Shane, what do you think about, with everything going on in Houston as of recent,
yes.
Kyler Murray or Deshaun Watson? Who are you picking off the board for a SuperFlex Dynasty startup?
Look, if I'm on the clock, I'm probably passing on either of these players. But since you gun to the head, I'm still probably going Deshaun Watson. I don't care that
Flex Mike's a no-show, by the way.
I'm trying to figure out where he is. My bad. I'm trying to figure out where he is. I don't know.
Look,
but go ahead.
I still think there's still the what if. What can Kyler become? And we absolutely saw glimpses of it, but we've seen some really great things from Deshaun Watson. And the fact that they did go out and get Brandon Cooks, which, look, if I'm managing a team, I think that's a horrible trade. I think that the Texans are spiraling out of control at this point. But at the same time, I mean, they're trying, right? They're trying to get a wide receiver because clearly they know that Will Fuller's not going to stay healthy. But I still love just Deshaun Watson. I think he's a baller, and gun to my head, it's very close, but I think I got Deshaun over Kyler.
All right, Geek, go ahead, tear him up.
Man, bad coaching, but I don't mind it. Kyler Murray hasn't proven himself. I would take Kyler Murray first, but Deshaun Watson, Brandon Cooks, baby, got a wide receiver over there, an inconsistent one.
Well,
Okay.
how
He's
many
like
times?
one concussion from being in big trouble, though. I mean, I'm scared of Cooks. I'm avoiding him at all costs this year. And
No,
pretty
watch
much every
out.
before that.
Well, he's going to be elevated, but I mean, I want to talk about you could start to look at the order of some of the players that are going in this draft, and you do start to get some sense of where people are valued and age. And there's Julio. Oh, that's Flex Mike taking him with the auto pick.
No. But still, it's it's
And
true.
Kelsey. I was curious. I was actually going to be curious as to where Julio went in a dynasty draft, but that kind of burned it right there.
In a couple that I've done, he's going late third. He's going right. Either you're going young and you're taking Cortland Sutton, or you're like, hey, I'm going to try to win now and take the dominant guy, and that's where those guys go in Superflex. In one QB leagues, I would imagine it would probably be like 10 or 12 picks earlier.
Even that's too bad. And let's see what Matt's doing over here. Josh Jacobs, Russell Wilson. Not a fan of Russell Wilson. Not a fan. Not a fan of Russell Wilson.
In Superflex, you're not a fan
in any
of him?
format. Not a fan. Love him as a person.
Yeah, how could you not? First of all, if
Love him as a
anybody
guy.
questions Russell
Hold
Wilson
up.
as a person,
come on now.
I love Russell Wilson as a person, but
okay, listen, I had the option.
Guys, I like just to go out and win. Let's go win it.
Okay, I
Russell
had the
Wilson.
option of Dak Prescott there. Would you have gone Dak Prescott over Russell Wilson?
all
Yes.
that.
Yes.
All that.
I would have too.
Yeah. And I
I'm
would have
looking-
taken Josh Allen over Russell Wilson.
Ugh.
Agree.
I don't know about that. I don't know about that at all. Hold on, I'm
Josh
picking right
Allen.
here.
Josh Allen has
Did
a.
you mean
He just
did
picked
you mean
Antonio Brown. Nice.
Oh,
What the fuck are you doing?
no,
That confused me. I thought that was AJ Brown too.
I thought that was AJ Brown.
All right, for our purposes, it's it's not.
Can we just keep going?
Wait a second, has AJ Brown been picked yet?
No.
No,
Pause this
Chances
thing,
are
man.
that sleepers fucked that up. That's got to be AJ Brown.
no. I'm pretty sure that was Matt. That was on you, brother.
Nah, that ain't
Yeah,
on. Now I'm all
AJ Brown
flustered.
is
Now I'm all
AJ Brown is
flustered.
number
Should I pause the
61.
draft?
Well, now I just fluster pick
Too
Marlon
late.
Mack. Okay,
What
I
are
don't,
you doing?
I don't know
Oh
what I'm
my
doing.
God.
He's a Houston Texans. He's spiraling out of
Listen, the
control.
Antonio Brown spirals got me in the soul. Okay,
Wow.
in the soul. No,
Listen,
I'm taking
you were
Russell. I'm taking Russell Wilson over Dak Prescott. When I draft my QBs in a Superflex Dynasty, I like to look at the next 5 years of production. Tell me Russell Wilson ain't outproducing Dak Prescott over the next 5 years.
He
I don't
won't.
think he
Listen,
won't produce him over this year.
One of the nice things
Okay,
about
that's a bet.
being-
We'll take that as a bet, says right here, right now.
One of the
And-
nice things about Dynasty, let me tell you, is you get to know the player that's on your team. And you get to know them really well. So I have a Dynasty with Russell Wilson at the helm, aside from the DFS aspect. And you get to know Russell. I love Russell, but his team wants to run the football. And when they can, they're not going to give it to Russ. Russ, if they let him, he'll do his thing. But, you got a bad coach over there in Seattle. Pete Carroll wants to run the football. So he produces a lot of 12 and 14-point games. Way too many. He'll pop for 40, but he's just not consistent enough for my not to take here. I don't want him there. I want to take him much later. He's not making a difference for your team. He's harming your team half of his games.
Shane, can you get me AJ Brown in that slot instead of Antonio Brown real quick? Draft moderator, AJ Brown. And
How
then
do
you
you-
know what? I just
Chris
messed
Carson.
Oh,
Wait, hold on.
Eoc just took him.
Yeah,
He
wait.
just- he just trolled
Chris
you.
Hey,
Carson,
get-
Marlon
no,
Mack. I mean,
switch
these are
this
just
back.
Matt,
disaster.
it doesn't really matter. It's
It
just
matters.
a real draft. We're just gonna keep. We'll just criticize you for not paying attention. That's all.
Damn.
Not on you.
Oh, fuck.
Gardner Minshew just went. My goodness, that's
I
quite.
mean, it's Superflex, man. Oh, but I see what you're saying. Above some of these other players, yeah, that's a rough one.
I would like to make a pitch to turn this into an actual league and do a $250 entry for it. If you guys are cool with it,
Oh shit!
Okay.
I just timed out too. Son of a bitch.
I'm liking the way
Oh.
this is going for my purposes.
Fuck. Okay, well, hey,
Wow.
none of us are
I thought Juju was off. I got thrown off because Juju and Sleeper was like way at the bottom. I was
Listen,
looking
this
for
is
Juju.
we're gonna blame Sleeper on this a whole
It's
this
this
entire
30-second
thing.
clock, man. It's this 30-second clock. It's crazy.
You know, that's a big thing that nobody really talks about is time on the board. That's a jeez. When it's
I could see this happening at the real NFL draft with all these guys that barely know how to use technology, you know?
Yeah, Flex Mike is finally tuned in, said his phone died, woke up to Saquon Barkley, Julio Jones, Travis Kelce.
Not a bad start.
It's not bad.
Not that bad.
Better than Antonio Brown, I suppose.
Better than Josh Jacobs, Russell Wilson, Antonio Brown, and Marlon Mack.
All right, here. This has become a shit show. Thank you, Geek. Appreciate it. Let's tear up Geek's draft here real quick. Where are you at, Geek? Bottom of the list,
easy,
or
it's never gonna be easy.
dang.
I got my boy coming up. The Dreezy, hello. He's on all my teams.
Okay, sell me on it. 4th round, Dynasty
Wait,
startup.
I still gotta make another pick. Stop trying to distract me.
Drake just went in round 2 of he won on the 1-2 turn of his Dynasty startup I recently was in. So people are.
Where was that out?
Drake went at pick 13 overall in this Dynasty startup I was just. Yeah, no, he's getting pushed up the board.
I'm a big fan of the Dreezy. Hold up.
Up 2.
I mean, he's 26 years old at this point.
Time out.
Yes.
Time
Yes.
out.
No.
Yes.
No.
Yes.
That's the distraction.
Yes.
Devontae Freeman. What the fuck is that? How does Devonta Freeman?
Maybe he'll be on the Rams.
This just killed the post-draft breakdown because it's like, what happened there? I was fucking ripping on Matt's draft, and I'm not paying attention. Next thing I know, I got Devonta Freeman. Wouldn't take him on my team. Want to drop him right now.
Exactly.
Want to make clear, he's droppable today, right now. I would drop him. Don't want him.
Yeah, see, at this point, your draft is now the worst draft on
It's
this
ruined.
board because
It's
Antonio Brown might have a real shot this year.
Look,
I will trade you Freeman for Antonio Brown.
Deal. Okay, I'll take
Make
it.
that deal.
Yeah, I'll
do
make
that.
that deal right
Which
now.
one of those guys would you rather have? That's a toss-up right there.
Obviously, Devontae Freeman is who you'd rather have. Antonio Brown is just like my draft here tonight, a shit show. Notorious Nick, how you feeling over there?
Nick's doing good.
No, I'm feeling fucking great. I mean, if you took Antonio Brown in a points per arrest league, you'd be doing pretty good.
Right.
Top of the league here.
Okay, all right. Enough of the Antonio Brown stuff already. You rocked out with Patrick Mahomes 1.02. That's definitely chalk. Austin Eckler, 2.11. How does everybody else feel about Austin Eckler right now? 2.11 Dynasty startup. SuperFlex.
Love it.
You're talking to the right crowd here, man. You're talking to friends when you draft Austin Eckler. We like him as a round 1 pick in 1 QB leagues. I mean, we're going to be very aggressive. 90 catches last year, sure, that's going to come down a little bit. But Nick, you got to be feeling good with a floor of like 65 catches right now there.
Yeah, no, I feel like he's Christian McCaffrey light at this point, honestly.
Yeah, no, I like it. He's probably, who's going to have more catches this year, Austin Eckler or Alvin Kamara? It's a real question.
Hey, Chris.
Yeah, man.
Now I'm going to talk to you. Oh, damn it. So I was just hoping to get you. But Odell Beckham, 5'9". 5.9. Was that another snipe on you?
Oh, yeah, that was. I would 100% took Odell there. I'm a Giant fan. I hold no ill will. I think he's due for a bounce back this year.
Yeah, no,
Sorry, I'm picking. Somebody else take that.
Odell and Mike Evans are my 2 favorite 3rd-round picks this year in drafts.
Mike Evans is falling to the 3rd, I guess, early 3rd,
yeah. Though. Oh, yeah. I'm talking in 1 QB leagues.
Odell, extra sneaky with Landry, probably not going to be ready for the start of the season. And as a says special when that happens, what happens in October when he's finally ready? He's not really ready. And then he's only really taken over in November. So you almost get 2 full months of Odell, the focal point of the Dolphins. Really good stuff.
The Browns are saying that he's going to be ready by week 1.
No. It's the same. It's AJ Green from last year all over again, man. That's a major surgery. I'm not saying he's going to be out for the year, but you cannot draft Jarvis Landry in the first 10 rounds. I mean, you may not have him for 2-3. It would be an upset if he came back.
That just happened. How are you going to take Jimmy Garoppolo? Okay, how are you going to take
SuperFlex
Jimmy Garoppolo? I don't give a fuck what kind of flex it is.
over Daniel
How are you
Jones?
going to take Jimmy Garoppolo, whose team only wants to run the football, ahead of Danny Jones or any number of these guys that are still starting quarterbacks, Sam Darnold even, or let's see who the fuck is left on the board here. I take Ryan Tannehill.
There's Matt Stafford, Matt Ryan's on the board. Jared Goff, Kirk Cousins.
Yeah, who I mean,
Hey,
I think
not a
Shane,
good.
Shane, are you
Yes.
finally with me that Jameis Winston should be off everyone's board? Are you finally with me now?
I hate you, Al.
I was trying to
Why gotta
tell you
rub-
back in
why
February,
you gotta
man.
rub salt? Hey, listen. There's something wrong with the NFL when guys like Jameis Winston can't find a freaking job. I get the turnovers, but you can fix certain things. Like
Yeah.
you can coach certain things out of players. It's a one-time thing. I don't think that's ever going to happen again.
Yeah, and you're also
can't tell me.
it's also very difficult to coach the leading touchdown passer in the NFL as well. Like it's hard to throw touchdowns. It's hard to make Mike Evans and Chris Godwin WR1 and 2 or 2 and 6, like whatever he does it well. I do not get this. I do not get it. Give me Jameis Winston on any team. I mean,
doubling
there's
down
no
on
way
Baker.
he doesn't like light that team up and create just this different atmosphere. Put him on the Chargers team and make Keenan Allen relevant again, because I hate that guy.
I'm glad you brought up the Chargers, because I was going to say, like, you can't tell me that Tyrod Taylor is better than Jameis Winston right now. I'm a Tyrod Taylor apologist, and like,
Why? Why do you
kidding
like
ourselves
Tyrod
here.
Taylor? Why?
I like because he's efficient. He's extremely efficient. He was one of these quarterbacks that
Efficient
get it
at
done.
losing.
No, he's efficient at passing the damn ball.
He efficiently
But-
sucks.
Yeah, he's efficient.
I
at
mean, he was on
losing.
the Bills for how many years,
All right,
right?
hold
Like
up. I
when the
need to
Bills
think.
were just absolute garbage.
Man, we got a lot of good value coming up here in this next round here. I'm only talking because it is now DFS Army's Geeks' turn,
Trying
and
to
he's
rebound from that last terrible.
his next
Devontae
with his
30
next
seconds
pick,
30
David
seconds is
Johnson.
so lightning fast to take two picks
Yeah.
in a row. It's
Well,
actually crazy. I can't.
You got to
even
be
tell
queued up and ready to
You
rock.
can't really like fly down the board. Wait. I want to pick this guy, not just look at him. How do you draft him?
Oh, yeah,
Yes,
timed
you
out
suck.
again.
Yes.
That's
I'm
all right.
having
Yeah.
technical difficulties.
Robert Woods.
Terry McLaurin. Okay,
Wheels
here we go.
up.
Yeah.
Yeah,
All right.
that's where I was going with the value. Catch TMC,
Now,
startup, 7th round. That's
are we not showing rookies in this? Are we not able to
Yeah.
pick rookie players right
nah.
now?
We're
is a-
doing this pre-draft. We will do
All right.
one post-draft
Yeah, we're gonna do a
as
mock
well.
rookie draft. Probably a few mock rookie drafts, to be honest, as we go along the season.
That's
Chris in New York.
Yeah, man.
By the
Weren't
way, I
you
would never
stoked to
take.
get- Oh,
I would
go
never
ahead,
take Robert
Geek.
Woods there
Jesus.
too. I just want to qualify that with the 30-second timer. I would not take Robert Woods.
We
He's
all
too
know that's a
old.
lie. Don't listen
Yeah.
to him. He's a liar.
Too old.
Too old. No,
Too old.
he's lying. He's lying. Geek actually took him. He texted me right before this that was his guy. He was going to get him around earlier, but he figured he'd fall, and he did. There he was. Chris, Daniel Jones, elated to get him as your first QB off the board. Superflex.
Yeah, I love him this year. I think he's been going in like the 9th or 10th round of best balls that I've been doing. He brings more running equity than most people realize, and he's a boom bust guy. But like fantasy wise, I look at him. I've been kind of joked, for better or worse, he's kind of the white Jameis in a young quarterback way. No shame, will chuck it down the field, but he puts up numbers, man. So I like him from a fantasy perspective.
Totally, and he's only going to get better, more consistent as they shore up that offensive line. So I think that, in my early rankings, I had Daniel Jones as the 10th overall QB. I would take him ahead of Baker, ahead of Aaron Rodgers, pretty close with Carson Wentz. I'm there with you, man. I think the upside for fantasy is just off the charts.
Well, he definitely went
AJ
ahead of
was
Baker
bringing him.
here, so he's already being put ahead of Baker. Geek, let's go back to you about Odell. I mean, not a lot of talk about Austin Hooper's entrance into that offense. So you still feel that way about Odell, even outside of losing Landry, with Austin Hooper getting into that mix?
I mean, we know the talent with Odell, so it's there, right? The whole team sucked last year. The whole team, top to bottom, pretty bad. So, I expect a rebound for Odell, and I don't think Hooper harms him even in the slightest. I think Hooper pretty much negates the David Njoku truthers from him being any good. But no, I think Odell's a great pick, and I think I agree with both Cez and Chris and Shane, or whoever just said it before, that Odell is one of the best picks in your standard draft in your best ball league in the 3rd round. You don't have to pay a 1st round price for him. That's the beautiful thing. Last year I had to pay a first-round pick for Odell. Felt bad. This year I did him in the 3rd round. Feels pretty good.
You know, the you know who Austin Hooper is going to kill, because they brought him in there. He's going to be the highest paid per year tight end. He's a high volume, efficient pass catcher. I think this is a real problem for Kareem Hunt. And not that you were taking Kareem Hunt anytime before the 5th or 6th round, but I mean, that's where Kareem Hunt, when he came back in week 10, that's where he made his money, man, was in the passing game. And I just think that that's going to be Austin Hooper territory. Kareem Hunt's a real problem this year, other than anything than a high yield handcuff. So buyer beware.
Man, my Antonio Brown pick's looking real sorry right now. Over there in the 3rd round. Oh man, this is horrible. This is really horrible here. Says you were one of the guys last year preseason that was pounding the drum hard for Daniel Jones. I believe you're one of the only ones really back there. Everybody was shitting on Daniel Jones.
Well, there's rationale behind it. Again, you know, I mean, my guess was as good as any if he was going to be good. But the thing was, you know, I had watched the tape, and he was a mobile QB who can move around. And for fantasy, like, it's not like with Haskins where he was taken at the 15th pick, and that's where he was supposed to go. Daniel Jones was considered a reach, so they were all in on him. He was going to get every opportunity to succeed, and he's going to get a longer leash than most. So any quarterback that's going to start in the NFL is worth something, and nobody wanted him. I couldn't understand it in dynasty leagues. I was very happy to take him in the 2nd round of our dynasty league in SuperFlex.
Okay, who went? I'm trying to find here. Who's got Nick Chubb? Oh, it's Charlie. He's not here. So I saw Notorious Nick. You grabbed Kareem Hunt. So does anybody think it's value that Kareem Hunt goes in the 7th round of a Superflex startup?
Sure.
Absolutely.
That's the part where you want him. I'm saying I've seen him get aggressively drafted, like in the 4th round, 5th round, and that's a problem, man, for all the reasons I stated before.
Yeah. So where does he end up next year? Or
he's right where he is.
He's only 24 years old. Let's not forget that. He's a young man.
So, but he's not going to end up in Cleveland. That's not the
for 2020.
No, not just for 2020. I'm talking about in the fee. He doesn't want to sit behind Nick Chubb. He's not going to take over primary back role in Cleveland. So, what team do you think that he might actually be headed off to, or a trade partner to, where he could actually get the opportunity to show that he's still here? He can still be a productive number 1 RB for fantasy football. Where? Tell me.
I mean, the running back opportunities shuffle around every year. If I was to take a guess, just looking at the free agents for 21, I would say the Jets would be a decent spot. Le'Veon Bell won't be there in 21.
That's a good idea. The Jets. Yeah, the Jets. Who are the Jets going to pick in the 1st round of the draft this year, Geek?
I believe it's going to be Jerry Jeudy, but you know, I can be convinced otherwise. It could be a tackle, an offensive tackle, but I think they have to go for a star wide receiver, and I think my boy Jeudy is going to end up on the New York Jets.
Chris, you like Jeudy or Lamb?
I like Lamb. I like them both, but if gun to my head, and I've had this choice in a few best balls, I go Lamb. I just love him as a route runner. I think a lot will be dictated, obviously, where they land, but just without knowing which team, I'd take Lamb by a hair.
Man, I really don't think. I mean, let's say that whoever the Jets draft, it's Jeudy or Lamb. I just don't love the landing spot. And why don't I love it? Says, like, I not believe in Darnold? Like, what? I mean, what?
No, you don't believe. It's you know, the obvious take is that you don't believe in Adam Gase. I mean, Adam Gase has been a weight around the leg of a lot of fantasy players who have flourished after they've been freed of him. I mean, Jarvis Landry was the only one to produce in that system. I mean, think about it. You got Kenyon Drake. You had Devontae Parker,
Ryan
Tannehill, Kenny Stills. I mean, the list goes on and on. What was it? Jay Ajayi, you know, once he broke free, had a couple of decent games. I mean, the list goes on and on and on. That he is one of those. He's like a wet blanket on a campfire. I mean, it's ridiculous.
Man,
just like our boy says, the wet blanket.
Yes, one knows another.
The Jets are the coronavirus of the NFL. It's just miserable and depressing to be around it.
I mean, they're literally the Jaguars and the Jets are probably the 2 worst teams, right?
Now, I mean, there are some other ones.
How
you
about
could
this?
put.
The teams with
Cleveland is
the
on the list.
the teams with the least amount of hope. Is that a better way to put it?
I mean, the Raiders. If you're a Raiders fan, do you have a lot of hope right
Yes.
now?
I think you do. Yeah.
I don't have much hope.
You're going to Vegas. There's excitement around the team, you know?
There's no hope around the Jets. As soon as they picked up Adam Gase as the coach, I went,
Yeah.
Here we go.
That was
Yeah, he's got to go. He's got to
Really?
go at this point.
So does who actually thinks that he was on some type of drugs in that video?
Well, wasn't it his offensive line coach or something like that? Like, was found to be on cocaine?
Oh yeah. That guy was nuts.
Oh man.
What do you
So
think,
miserable.
Geek?
I don't
What
think
do
he
you
was
think,
on the
Geek?
drugs. I don't think he was
well,
on
then
the
what was
drugs.
going on? Can somebody tell me what was going on?
I think the guy's a freak. He's a freak show, man. No one likes him. His players don't like him. I don't understand how he got a head coaching job.
Yeah,
You
that's
ever-
what I'm wondering.
How?
Like how?
Well, he was his biggest claim to fame was he was the Peyton Manning's
Quarterback,
offensive
yeah.
coordinator, right? I mean,
Peyton Manning's his own offensive coordinator. That's the
Well-
worst claim to fame you could possibly have. There's no
Well,
worse.
that's the-
Like, I was the running back coach for Christian McCaffrey. Oh, good for you.
Is Adam Gase the Sam Bradford of head coaches, where they just keeps
no,
getting
no.
opportunity
There's
after
no-
opportunity?
There's a worse guy. The worst head coach in NFL history is Jeff Fisher. And Adam Gase is the Jeff Fisher. Jeff Fisher somehow lasted for multiple years in all of his spots, though, like he fooled the owners into thinking he was a competent human being. I don't know how he did it.
How did I end up with John Brown on my team?
Sheriff, baby. Not paying attention.
Now, Shane, I think you got a really, really, really great value on Deontay Johnson, 10.7 SuperFlex Dynasty starter. Give me a little bit about Deontay Johnson. It's got you juiced.
Well, okay. So first of all, I had to kind of think about it for a second because I did have Juju on my team, but there's a very real possibility that Juju is gone after next year, and I think that they honestly believe that Deontay Johnson has what it takes. And we saw glimpses of it last year with just an abysmal quarterback group. And he's a special kid, man. He's out there. He's quick. He's got good rapport. To me, he's kind of he's the kind of player that quarterback loves to have on his team. We all know Antonio Brown, and I think the Steelers are looking for a guy like that. I mean, it worked in their system. They need a guy that can control the ball, a possession type receiver. And I think Deontay Johnson can do that. I don't think anybody is sold on James Washington at this point. Are we?
No.
I think he's a player, right? He's an NFL wide receiver, professional receiver.
That's never just the brightest star in the room says always shitting on things. He's a player. He's a guy.
I mean, right now,
He's in the NFL?
Wouldn't he be a starting wide
awesome.
receiver on at least 75% of the teams? I mean, he's I'm not saying he's a star, but he's a useful guy. He'll get drafted in fantasy leagues. He'll have a couple pop weeks. I don't think he's toast. Right?
See, I think
Who are we talking about now?
James Washington.
I'm worried that there's not going to be consistent, right? Like when it's a dead air like that, it's because there's too many question marks. I mean, he hasn't really taken that step forward. The problem is that he was such a good prospect coming out that we had such high hopes from him. When he got drafted by the Steelers, I think people were pretty excited about it because the Steelers have been known to be able to just massage and find these wide receiver talents, especially later in the draft. And I think that he's disappointed, honestly. He hasn't met expectations.
Yeah, well, no Big Ben last year though. Let's get him back with Ben, and then we'll make a decision on him. I think that all those receivers. Look at Juju. We want to judge him by his last year too. That was finished as wide receiver 60.
Schuster is going to be the steal of the draft this year in the third round. If you can get him there, and Ben Roethlisberger plays out the season. Roethlisberger is a very consistent guy. He's going to pepper this dude like nothing you've ever seen before. Everybody got lulled into Juju sucks after last year with no Ben. Big mistake.
Yeah.
Well, yeah, and I mean, I can't even, I got Juju in one of my dynasty leagues. Nobody even wants the guy. It's like I'm trying to trade him, but it's like, here, I'll give you a third rounder. I'm like, no.
That's kind of the issue right now is that the owner wants more than what people are willing to pay because there's still that question mark, right? There's that risk. And if you don't own Juju, you don't own that risk at this point. So it's like you're kind of subsidizing the risk. But at this point, it's let's see what Juju can do, right? Because we've seen it. It's once you've seen it, you know that a player can get to that level I mean, we saw it with Juju in college, right, where he had a great sophomore season and then his junior season was disappointing.
Hey, I got a question for Nick. I see he has on his squad right there, Darrell Henderson. What the market is completely split on him. Nick, what do you see for Henderson this year?
See, the problem with him right now, I honestly have no idea. I figured I'd just take the shot on him. There was no one even around him. A guy like Ronald Jones, all those other guys, I don't believe in at all. So I'd rather just take the shot. And then maybe you just draft Malcolm Brown even later and then just handcuff the two of them. And then you just get the one guy. I mean, Malcolm Brown could easily be the guy. Last year, you saw him vulture Todd Gurley like a million times, it seemed like, in a couple of games. And then he ends up getting hurt. I believe Darrell Henderson got hurt. So we don't really know what we have in Darrell Henderson, but I do think that if he gets enough work, if he's like the 60-40 back on that team, I think he's going to put up points.
I agree with Nick. I think he's literally the last running back that has top 10 upside. After that, it's just like it's just you're taking stabs at the board. I mean, Darrell Henderson could fall off and be a 0, but at that point in the draft, he's the exact guy that I want to target as my RB4 and RB3 in all these drafts. So I'm with you there.
Well, the Texans just gave away a second-round pick for Cooks. Is
that's
that
dangerous.
not? Yeah, that's dangerous. Is that not the pick that Cam Akers rides on into LA and goes from one bad line to another bad offensive line, but yet he can steal that number 1 RB job? What do you think?
What's it called? Again, it's my guess is just that it's a guess, but I think that's the Jonathan Taylor spot.
Is to LA or?
Ooh.
Yeah, I think that's where it ends up being. I really do think that that's the kind of running back they're looking for. One cut and boom, go. I mean, Henderson can be the pass catcher, the outside guy, the speed guy. I think that the two teams that are going to be most interested in someone like Jonathan Taylor are the Rams and the Steelers. I think those are the two teams to look out for on draft day.
Well, what's crazy is that real NFL seems to be getting lower and lower as the weeks go by on Jonathan Taylor, while Dynasty Twitter is staying high on him.
Yeah, I mean, what's it called? We've had DeAndre Swift is our number 1 from the beginning of the process. There's a good reason for that. He absolutely is bulletproof. Any team he goes to, he will fit in. Doesn't matter what the situation is. Jonathan Taylor, again, I think he's a great running back, but there's a couple real problems there. And then, I mean, okay, let me give you an example. Look at Todd Gurley. Todd Gurley with Jeff Fisher, and then Todd Gurley with Sean McVay. It's two different players. That's what Jonathan Taylor is going to be like. In the wrong situation, it's going to be a very frustrating situation. Whereas I think J.K. Dobbins and DeAndre Swift, and we do our rookie breakdown. I'll give you more detail, but those are the two guys that are absolute bulletproof in this draft, in my opinion.
Dobbins and Swift?
Yeah, those are the bulletproof prospects.
Yeah, I mean, I would tend to disagree with that just because I don't know what type of back Dobbins is going to be. I feel I get exactly what I think Taylor's going to be, and I get exactly what Swift's going to be. Dobbins is a dark horse, is a little bit of a wild card to the right team in the right situation. Sure, everybody's mocked him to Miami, and says even if he goes to Miami, it might take him a year to really take over and solidify that running back 1 as a satellite plus back in the NFL. Go ahead.
J.K. Dobbins, 300 rushes, 2,000 rushing yards,
dude.
23 total touchdowns, 23 receptions, 247 reception yards.
With one of the best offensive lines in college football. I get it.
2,000 yards, like 2,000, and
with the 2.
Yeah, but also it's the speed, it's the long speed, it's the lateral agility. It's, if you watch it, it literally has this jump cut move where it's when you think you're going to tackle him and he jumps to the right or he spins out to the left. I mean, the only one that's got a better spin move is DeAndre Swift, but it's just unbelievable. The one thing that is a little ding on Dobbins when you watch it, is that he's not a willing pass blocker, and he doesn't step up in there. And we know what keeps guys off the field in the NFL is not the bad pass blocking. That could be a problem at the wrong team. So I'll see that.
Pointing out real quick, just on the draft side of like following along with what we're doing here, you notice the massive drop off in talent here as you get to the 12th round, 13th round. You're like fishing in a pool of shit at this point for anything, especially without the rookies going.
You know what though? I mean, Hayden Hurst to Notorious Nick. Irv Smith.
And Irv Smith.
Smart. Yeah. Very smart picks. I love those picks.
If you're in a league and you're like, and you have other terrible picks. But if you're in a league and you're getting production out of this spot in your draft, you're probably winning your league pretty soon. Like if you're able to get Hayden Hurst, good pick.
Yeah.
Yeah, well, and then what about, there's so much disrespect going on about like Arthega-Whiteside and Andy Isabella. Like a lot of people, and Paris Campbell, a lot of people feel like those are really big. Go out and buy those receivers. N'Keal Harry also dropping. I mean, I got him here at the 901, right after Marquise Brown. Recent wide receivers seem to have flamed out, but I mean, Paris Campbell, getting him back just on the field and going is a big move there. But I'd like to see more out of these sophomore wide receivers. Andy Isabella's got really great talent. But now he's stuck behind DeAndre Hopkins. It might not happen for him. Who knows? But I wanted to go to Chris here. Drew Lock, Dwayne Haskins. It pretty much went one and then the next. So that was probably likely your selection there. And again, I'm bringing it to him because he's on the clock here, and I'm really trying to get him.
Mess him up.
But was it?
I'm going to take your boy Isabella, and then for me, I'm high on Fant, and I went with the little correlation there. And I actually think Drew Lock has a better chance of keeping his job long term than Haskins. Like the stuff you've been hearing out of Washington is like they don't seem as sold on Haskins, this new regime, as you would think for someone they drafted, 15th overall last year.
Yeah, but this group didn't draft him. Ron Rivera didn't draft him. He's got
that's the point I'm making. He said Kyle Allen would have that leg up if they had no training camp, which I don't know if that's just coach speak, but that's incredible.
Kyle Allen was his QB who started last year for him, who won him some football games,
but was awful as well, though. That dude's bad.
Hill, I like that pick.
With when you got coaches like Ron Rivera, I mean, it's all about the trust. Hey, can this guy get my system off the ground? I mean, I think you even said it in another podcast, Chris. It's like they brought Ron Rivera in there just to steady the room, to have an adult in the room. It's just it's been one bad season after the next from Washington, and if he thinks Kyle Allen can steady the ship and get them to 2-2 or 3-1 or just not 0-4, he's going to do it.
What happens if Tua gets drafted to Washington?
I used to think that was going to happen. I'm believing less and less that that's a possibility right now. Well,
the only one that was spreading that rumor was Riverboat Ron. I mean, he showed up to the combine and said, "We're drafting Tua." That's what, now great, he wants to have somebody trade up and so they can get a trade back. But what happens? I mean, if Tua comes in, I mean, does that not instantly elevate Catch TMC, and anybody else, Kelvin Harmon, does that not elevate those guys on that offensive side there, says?
I mean, Tua is literally the definition of high risk, high reward in this draft because of the injuries, not just the hip, the ankle, which has been well documented, but he's accurate. He's not a stiff in the pocket. And I would say if we have healthy Tua, all those guys, it's here we go, right? We got a good real QB that likes to sling it. I'm with you on that one.
And Al, I mean, so Tua, these players have now started to have kind of mock pro days that they've been using. And Tua just had his today. I was either today or yesterday.
It was today, and we retweeted all 7 videos, absolutely. And it looks good.
Yeah. It looks good, man. He looks healthy, and doctors are saying apparently that it's not a high risk of re-injury, just the way the part of the hip that it was on. So, look, the NFL, if you can get an elite quarterback in the NFL, you go for it. Who cares what it's going to cost?
Yeah, but that is, and I agree with you what you just said about getting the elite quarterback. But it's, are we gonna? People moved up for Mitch Trubisky. People moved up for Christian Ponder. It's more often than not it doesn't work out. So you better be damn sure if you're gonna move up to get a guy or jump the field that he's that guy, because there's some real rock solid prospects that are available right there that can't miss. Chase Young, again, I'm all for taking Tua early, but Chase Young, he's a can't miss prospect.
Okay, and we will end this on the Christian Ponder reference from one Alan Seslowski. Notorious Nick, tell us again where everybody can find you, brother, and we'll let you sign out there.
All right, at Notorious FNTSY on Twitter, on YouTube at just Notorious Fantasy, and then if you're listening on a podcast, it's Notorious Fantasy Football. All kinds of fun videos on there, and as well as just things to listen to. So thank you guys.
Thank you, brother. We'll have you back on.
Thanks,
We're gonna
Nick,
have
man.
Nick
Good
on in a
stuff.
couple weeks here.
All right,
We'll get him
awesome.
back
Can't
on.
wait.
All right, Chris, where can everybody find you, my friend?
Easiest place is just go to my Twitter at Chris Felicetta, FELICETTA, and anything I write, I'll link up there. I really appreciate you guys having me on. You guys always put out some great content, man. It's a pleasure.
Thank you very much, brother. We really appreciate it. We'll have you on for the next one. We'll do a rookie. I mean, we'll light these up as draft season's coming.
It's upon us, baby.
It's upon us, Geek. Where can everybody find you?
You guys know me. I'm at DFS Army all the time, talking shit, breaking down the games, breaking down the sports. I'm playing esports now.
You
doing
threw
esports?
your
That's the new thing.
League of Legends champion.
Yeah, you threw your big, your big trouser snake out on the table, and you challenged people to $1,000 bet here. And I forgot it was with Guru Elite and Osimo, right? And you just threw it right down on the table.
Toss the gauntlet down, man. I'm
Yeah,
becoming a pro
how did that
League
happen?
of Legends guy.
Where did that come about? Geek?
Here's
Tell
what's
me.
going on. There are no sports right now. So we have all shifted over to betting and gambling on fake sports that are played by video game players. And, in order to learn the sport, of course, I had to jump on and say, what is this League of Legends shit? Because I tried to watch it and it just made me have a headache. So I played a little bit and I'm like, you know what? I see some of these other guys playing it too. Just checking it out. Want to learn the sport that you're breaking down, that you're betting on. So I'm like, motherfuckers, I see you playing. And guess what? Let's have a little charity tournament. Go help the first responders out. COVID charities of choice. Get the other sites like ours involved, and let's have a little bit of tournament. And at least we have some ringers. Everybody has a ringer. Your esports staff member is probably really good at it. But, you got to force them to get some guys like me in there who started playing like 1 week ago just to see what's up. And I feel like I'm ready to take on these guys, even some of these youngsters.
DFS Army's been smashing. I mean, I think I saw, Bobby Wow, right? That's the guy that won $1 million last year.
Bobby Wow picked up.
He was on here,
He picked up another $20K last night, a couple
another
days ago.
$20K. And then I think you had somebody that had won like $60K or $80K on it too. I mean, Jesus, criminy Geek.
Our biggest esport, I think, was a $50K win. But like, it's ridiculous. Everybody's playing this shit. Before sports stopped, an esport contest might have 300 entrants, 450. Now we're getting contests with 25,000 entrants, 35,000 entrants. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, and the charity thing is and here we are. Yes, and the charity thing is such a good thing too. I know that Scott Fish does that as well. When they do the Scott Fish Bowl, I believe they donate some to charity and stuff like that. So that's really great because that's a way to throw it down. If anybody ain't noticed, I'm at the draft that never happened here. I'm at the Bellagio.
Oh, right. Yeah, where they were going to boat the players over, huh? Is that
they were going to boat them
Wasn't
on
it
over?
almost too good to be true? It was almost too good to be true.
Yeah, right.
They'll do it next year.
Yeah. All right. And then for Alan Seslowski, who is recently writing some content for Roster Watch, doing some videos. Tell everybody about that.
Yeah, you just said it there, doing a couple articles a week for Roster Watch. And then my usual home is Over with the Geek, and we're going to be putting out our rankings, our season-long rankings, our dynasty rankings, rookie rankings for the DFS Army. Those should be coming up in the next, right after the draft. We'll publish those. And like I said, a couple times a week over at Roster Watch, just doing some targeted-based content for those guys over there. It's a lot of fun.
Yeah, and I want to talk about this. Don't let Geek push you off your mountain this year. Because I remember preseason had Kenyon Drake, I think RB7, and I want to say that Geek pushed you off the mountain. You pushed him. He pushed you to rank him like 12 or 13, but I think he ended up very high.
Right,
and
that's where he ended up. He ended up as RB16 on the year, and obviously it would have been way higher.
Wait, hold up. Are you saying you predicted that Kenyon Drake would be traded mid-season?
No.
And then replace David Johnson as the starter for a much more
Well,
hyped up
Al,
offense.
I got
My
this.
issue
I
with
got this. I got this.
my issue,
Al bet on talent. That's what it came down to.
always bet on talent.
there you go.
My issue with Drake was always the same issue I'm going to have with Josh Jacobs, that when you guys want to draft him too high and all these fucking running backs from losing teams. I want my running back on a team that wins games. I don't want them on losing teams. You fucking Miami lose games all the time. I don't want your running back. I don't want losers. Jets,
Minnesota
fucking
Vikings
Le'Veon Bell.
were
I don't want your
horrid
loser ass running back
for years
because
with
you're
Adrian
fucking losing
Peterson.
team. I want winning teams. Running
No-
backs on winners.
No Kalen Garbage for the
None
geek.
of that. I
Okay.
want
Well,
winners.
what having a running back on a winning team does is look at Aaron Jones. When you're in a position to score touchdowns, you can score a hell of a lot of touchdowns.
good.
I want my running
But Geek,
back.
I got to
to
ask you about this. I saw the Vegas under over for Carolina this year is 5.5. What is that? That doesn't make any lower on C-back.
Christian McCaffrey is an exception
Exception to the rule.
Yeah, exactly.
He's
the outlier.
The
because he's
101
also
by
a wide
the geek
receiver.
on one of the
Right,
Hold
worst
up.
teams in the league.
Because he's also, I like wide receivers on losing teams. And with McCaffrey, I get a wide receiver and a running back. WR1, RB1, no other player in the league is 2 players in 1. That's why it's okay. But for every other running back, I want my running back to come from, sorry about that, but I want my running back to come from winning teams. And I will sign off with that.
Okay,
As
just
my
get the
garage
hell
is
out of
going
here,
nuts.
Pete.
I think my
God.
Instacart is here, so I gotta go get
Yeah,
it.
get out of here.
All right, guys. All right, I'm gonna get out to
All
bounce
right,
out too. All
Al,
right, everybody.
later. Shane, how can everybody find us?
We are on Twitter at the Flex Network 1. Guys, we're going to have another podcast to break down the draft. So come join us. We'll have it up on the site. We have it on Periscope, as anywhere you can find us. We put it on YouTube. Subscribe below. And thanks for joining.
Yes, and I am Flex Matt, and we will see you again.